Day, the very first day of January in the year of our Most High Elohim 2021, with the time now standing at precisely 7 minutes past 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. I welcome each and every one of you to this very special broadcast, coming to you live and direct to the entirety of humanity on the surface of this very planet Earth. Happy New Year to all of you. According to the Gregorian European calendar, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the largest mass movement on the face of this very planet, the indigenous people of Biafra. I am the director of Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High Elohim, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. This evening, it is rather very unfortunate that we are unable to come to you live on my Facebook page. Those of them that run Facebook, not only in the damnable zoological republic, but also out of California, they have decided or determined, I should say, that I shouldn't broadcast live on Facebook. I have done everything humanly possible. We have done everything humanly possible to make sure we come live on Facebook. They have refused. They have flatly refused. The zoo have stuffed them with money as always. And those of them working for Facebook in Lagos and in Abuja have sided with the Janjaweed Fulani Caliphate to try to deny us space to propagate the gospel of the restoration of the kingdom of heaven upon the face of this very earth. This address this evening is designed to touch upon everything we have accomplished over the years and what we intend to accomplish as we move forward. Not minding that I'm not on Facebook, I will allow, or should I say advise our people to allow those who are waiting for me to come live on Facebook to please access this very broadcast via IPOB Community Radio app, also Radio Biafra app, our FM relay stations in the blessed land of Biafra. We are also on satellite television. There you can be able to follow this very program this morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are. Before we go any further, it is customary with us, we must hand over our proceedings to the Most High, to come and take charge, not just of this very broadcast this very evening, but also these very efforts to liberate his own children this year going forward. They have decided not to allow us to broadcast on social media. That notwithstanding, I do understand that we are on YouTube as well. Some of you may be able to follow us on that very platform if you wish to do so. Let us pray. And we are going to pray as it is customary here in the language of heaven. Chineke na nke pụrụ ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-akpụ isi ala nye. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya ka mbara igwe na-egosi ọlụ aka ya mere ji wee na-etugusu niile nke ndị agha, onweghị onye dịka eze ndị nsọ. Ọ bụ na aka gị ka anyị dabere, onye nwe m. N'ime gị ka anyị gbabere eze ebube dị ngọzi, wee n'eze atụmatụ ọjọọ niile nke ndị iro. Anyị wee were ụmụ gị n'ụwa niile bụ ndị IPOB bụ abụrụ ituru ugo, onye nwe m, wee na-ebute n'iru nsọ gị ka i wee gọzie ụmụ gị n'otu n'otu, ọlụ aka ha niile, ezinụlọ ha niile, ọpụpụ ha na mbata ha. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, arịrịọ ka anyị na-arịọ gị, mkpọkụ ka anyị na-akpọku aha nsọ gị, ka ọ ga-abụ n'ikpete maazụ ka ndị iro hapụ ịchị anyị ọchị. Onye nwe m, n'ihi na ọ bụ sọsọ aha nsọ gị ka anyị ji wee na-anya isi. Anyị enweghị onye ọzọ. Mba niile dị iche iche wee gbakọta anyị azụ, wee na-eme ka ha wee megide ndị gị, onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, ka ha si wee kunie na ha ga-esi wee megide obodo nsọ gị bụ Israel. Iwe si na mba n'okwu gị ga-abịarịrị na mmezu n'ụbọchị nke dị Israel wee guzosi ike. Otu a ka anyị si wee na-arịọ gị n'otu aka ahụ. Anyị onwe anyị bụ ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra, gbasasị aka ọkpaka n'ụwa niile, ka anyị na-eche n'iru gị nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, n'ihi na ikwuru anyị na nkwa sị na mgbe ọbụla anyị kụduru wee kpọkuo aha nsọ gị, asụghị ngọngọ, atụghị egwu mmadụ ọbụla. Ụbọchị ọbụla anyị kụduru wee jụọ arụsị, na ụbọchị nke ahụ na ị ga-agọzi anyị n'ụzọ pụrụ iche. Iwe gọzie ndị gị, onye nwe m, n'ụbọchị nke taa. Sọsọ ije ama ka anyị na-aja gị, onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, n'ihi na ọ bụ na anaghị ebu ndị pụrụ ime mila ndị iro n'ihu anyị etu a. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna, ka aka nsị ndị iro bara ha ọnụ, obodo ekwensu buzu aka nsị ha wee baa ha ọnụ, ndị terọrist na ndị bandit wechiri ha wee n'ala ha n'iyi, dịka isi wekwa anyị na nkwa na oge ahụ ruo na ị ga-ememela ndị niile bụ ndị mere ka ụmụ gị wee gbaa anya mmiri. Onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke bi n'igwe, anyị wee were ụmụ gị ndị a niile n'otu n'otu, onwe onye ọbụla nke anyị na-ahapụ wee nyefee gị n'aka. Anyị wee na-echeta ndị nọ n'ụlọ nga, wee na-echeta ndị nọ n'ụlọ iko, n'onweghị ihe ọbụla ha mere. Ndị niile bụ ndị nwe ike kpọtara ndị nwe ekwensu ka ha wee gbagbuo. Onye nwe anyị na Chineke na ị ga-abọrọ anyị ọbọ ebe nwe ike nọ na ndị otu ya. Ị ga-abọrọ anyị ọbọ n'ihi na ị bụ Chineke nna. Ị ga-abọrọ anyị ọbọ ebe nwe ike na onye nwe m. N'otu aka anyị isi ụmụ ahụ na ndị ọjọọ niile bụ ndị kpọtara ndị Fulani Janjaweed n'ala nsọ gị. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, ndị dị etu a bụ ndị ga-ekpochapụ n'otu n'otu. Ị gaghị emere ha ebere. Anyị na-agba akwụkwọ n'isi ha nna nke igwe, n'otu ahụ onwe ha si wee mụta ụmụaka, n'ihi na nwa ike mụtara nwoke mụta nwaanyị. Otu aka akụ nwa ha si wee mụta nwoke mụta nwaanyị, ikpeazụ wee mụta nwoke wee mụta nwaanyị, nwoke wee mụta nwoke wee mụta nwaanyị. Nna nke ebere dị ngọzi, ka ha si wee mechie ezinụlọ ndị ọzọ. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke bi n'igwe, sikwotu wee mechie ezinụlọ ndị dị etu a, n'ihi na onweghị ihe ọbụla nesiri anyị na ha na-abụ nna nke ebere. Ọ bụ ozi si anyị gaa ka anyị na-aga. Onweghị onye ọbụla napụrụ ihe ya n'ike. Anyị anaghị ezu ochi, anyị anaghị agba ama. Nna nke dị nsọ, ị ga-eku n'iwe lụọrọ ndị gị ọgụ. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, obodo ekwensu bụ uzu ka ị ga-ala n'iyi dịka ekwesịkwa anyị na ngwa. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị na-asị ezi ebube dị ngọzi. Ọ bụ gị onwe gị bụ onye hiwere Eastern Security Network, ọ bụghị mmadụ dị ndụ, n'ihi na ọ bụ izi anyị ozi, anyị wee zie ndị dị ndụ. Iwe si n'oge ahụ erule mgbe nnụnụ ọbụla ji alaghachi na-akwu. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, na a ga-enwe ndị nche ga-eche ala nsọ gị. Iwe si etu a wee mee ka ha wee guzosi ike. Ezi ebube dị ngọzi, ihe a ga-eri agaghị akọ ha. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna, ị ga-ekpuchigide ha, ị ga-enye ndị mmụọ ozi gị iwu ebe ụmụ gị ndị dị etu anọ bụ ndị nche, bụ ndị volunteer. Anyị wee guzosi ike n'isi ụmụ gị ndị a niile bụ ndị na-eche ala nsọ gị bụ Biafra. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, wee na-asị na ndị mmụọ ozi gị ga-agba ha okirikiri wee chebe ụtụtụ ehihie abalị. Onweghị atụmatụ ọjọọ ọbụla nke ndị iro ga-emetụta ha n'ahụ nna nke igwe, n'ihi na mmeri bụ nke anyị. Ị ga-arọpụtara anyị ngwa agha ezi ebube. Ị ga-arọpụtara anyị ngwa agha. Onye nwe m, na ndị Fulani Janjaweed pụta ala nsọ gị, anyị sụọ ha akwụ nna nke ebe anyị were ọbara ha wee tọjụọ ala, n'ihi na abụ m ekwensu. Ọ ga-abụ na ekpete masị na Biafra ga-eguzorịrị. O nweghị ihe ọbụla mmadụ dị ndụ pụrụ ime ebe Biafra nọ. Biafra ga-eguzo n'ihi na ihe ọbụla idere n'idewu ya. Anyị ga-aja gị mma wee too gị, gọzie aha nsọ gị ma bulie gị elu site n'ebighị ebi ma ruo n'ebighị ebi ka anyị na-arịọ. Ise. Once again, I welcome each and every one of you this evening, morning, afternoon, or depending on where you are. We are not able to broadcast live on Facebook because Facebook proceeded to tell me, or in fact, they actually said to me that I will not be able to broadcast on my Facebook page. That is the reason. Captured it very succinctly, and the person said that Ojukwu fought 2 wars. I will call it 3. because Ojukwu was fighting neo-colonialism, British imperialist interest in black Africa. Ojukwu was also fighting the stupidity of a black man, because those who rose up against him were also black people who were suffering, and they are still suffering till this very day. Ojukwu was also fighting Igbo Efulefus everywhere. That was exactly what happened. And this fight we are facing now is no different. That is why our their lands in the north will be occupied by bandits that they themselves. To understand that there is a method in our madness. We are very, very strategic in terms of our approach, not just to the disintegration of the damnable zoological republic, but its disembowelment. I did promise you many years ago that by the time we are done with Nigeria, the name Nigeria will no longer exist. That is where we are heading to. And for us to be able to accomplish that, we need to recreate the scenario of Yemen, the scenario of Syria, the scenario of Somalia, in the northern part of the damnable zoological republic. And there is only one way we are going to achieve that. ESN will give it to us. How? Because in their eternal foolishness and stupidity, it is called hubris, the Janjaweed army will come to the south to engage us. They will. They will come. It is not a question of if, but when. But this time around, we are waiting for them in our bushes and in our forests. We are not going to fight this war in our townships. We are going to fight it inside our bushes and in our forests. They will come there and we are going to kill them. All of them. And as they are coming into our bushes and in our forests, they will leave their backside open. Terrorists from all across the Sahel will flood into Arewa lands and occupy it. God will destroy them. I just want all of you to watch and see what is going to happen to the zoo. What they call banditry and insurgency is only the beginning. Just an appetizer. The real dish is coming. The main course is coming. At the end of this process, all of you will worship God the way that nobody ever did in the world before. Biafra is coming not through the efforts of any mortal, but through the grace of God and God only, and not man. God will not share his glory with any mortal. By the time that Biafra gets here to us, we will all be very thankful that out of the billions upon billions of the people that occupy this very earth, Chukwokika chose Biafra to showcase his mighty works. You must remember this always. The fight we are engaged in is not of a carnal nature. It is very, very spiritual. That is why the same Efulefus that fought Ojukwu, the same idiots that is scattered all over the zoo that fought Ojukwu's restructuring, they gave birth to their children, and today those idiots, some of them of course fathered by Fulani Janjaweed, are fighting us. Because Biafra is the kingdom of heaven upon the face of the earth. The beginning of the genuine liberation of every black person on the face of this very earth. Therefore, Lucifer doesn't want Biafra to come. Agents of darkness in the zoo and beyond do not want Biafra to come. Neo-colonialists in British Foreign and Commonwealth Office do not want Biafra to come. Because they know what Biafra portends. They know that with Biafra, a Fulani, ordinary Fulani boy will be able to go to school and be free. They know with the coming of Biafra that entire black Africa will be liberated from decades, or should I say centuries, of unsolvable hardship and poverty. They understand that very well. That's why they are fighting. When you see the likes idiots like Nwike and Omahi, they are doing the job of the devil. They are working for Lucifer, for darkness. The same thing that Opa Biaseka did against Ojukwu. That is what Nwike and Omahi are doing, all of them. Your so-called governors. Have they been able to defend you against Fulani Janjaweedism? When Nimbo was attacked, Uzowani was attacked by Fulani headsmen, all these Efulefus, what did they do? They did nothing. When people were being murdered and raped and slaughtered in Edo State, what did the governor then do of Edo? Nothing. Even right now, Delta State is under siege. What have they done? Nothing. Therefore, I find it very, very distressing that human beings that claim they are educated or have a semblance of exposure to enlightenment and reason will rise up one morning to side the governors. I find it very, very shocking. These are the things that you must understand and bear in mind. That the same difficulties Ojukwu encountered against Igbo people especially, and some Efulefus from Ijoland, from Ibibio, are we all not suffering now? Who is having fun? I'm asking you. Cancer, we were that sold out to Biafra, is he not dead? Was he not killed by a Fulani man? By a Janjaweed? Who are the people that own the oil wells we have today in Ijoland, in Ogoniland, in Ibibio, in Anang, in Efik land? I'm asking them, the idiots that refer to themselves as South, I want to ask you a simple question. How many oil wells do you have in your land? That was what Ojukwu was fighting for. So you can have access to your own resources, but out of your stupidity, your idiocy and foolishness, you sided Abacha, you sided Muhammad, you sided the Obasanjos of this world. Today, all the billionaires you have, not one single Biafran is among them, not one single Easterner. The only thing that you idiots specialize in is fighting those who are fighting for your freedom. That is how foolish some of you are. You are foolish beyond redemption. After fighting Ojukwu from 67 to 70, how is your life today, I ask you? How is your life? It's a very simple question. Ojukwu went to Aburi to go and get restructuring for all of you to make your lives better. The same way that their propaganda machine led by the BBC managed to, because we are black people. Just like today we are celebrating New Year's Day, a Gregorian New Year's Day. Because one pope somewhere decided that he wants to be having his Christmas every winter. That is all. He changed the calendar of the world, turned it upside down. Today we are celebrating Gregorian New Year. When you go to Africa and see how people are celebrating the New Year, nobody's asking any question. Is this the actual beginning of the year? Nobody's asking. That was how they brainwashed all of you, washed away your brains and your common sense. You can no longer reason. That is why after Arabs must have sold us as commodities, the Europeans came, took us into the Americas as slaves, sold our children as slaves. Today we are still being killed in some parts of America, isn't it? A boy was killed in Ireland just the other day. After they finished, now the Chinese are coming. Every race in the world will always enter into Africa because they understand how foolish Africans are. They know we are going to be fighting each other and not them. They understand what I call the genetic defects and deficiency in the brain of a black man. They understand it very well. The same thing is happening to us. Omahi could not defend you when the Fulanis came. None of your so-called governors could defend you when the Fulanis came. The same people are today saying they're against Eastern Security Network, and some of you are foolish enough to be listening to them. But when Uzowane was attacked in Enugu, people slaughtered, including a girl that came back home from Canada. None of you did anything. You did nothing. Did you see how black people reason? That is the reason why God gave me this revelation many years ago, that the greatest obstacle to the progress of a black man is in his brain, that a black man cannot reason. A black man cannot reason. Fulanis, they come to your land, they attack you, they rape your mothers, they abduct your daughters. What are you going to do about it? It's a very simple question. For very many years, we kept quiet to see if you can do anything about it. But you did nothing. All we did was to lament. Oh, there's been this kidnapping here. Fulani has destroyed crops here. They have killed us here. They have sacked our village. Every year, every week, we kept on lamenting with no concrete action. Only lamentation, lamentation, lamentation. Now that those chosen by God to fight for his land has risen up to set up Eastern Security Network, some of the idiots, I wouldn't even say it is them, some of the idiots, some of the fools, some of the people fathered by Janjaweed, they are busy telling you the governors are against it. This is not against it. It's Nnamdi Kanu's a militia. But Amoteku is there. They'll tell you it was set up by law. There's a law guiding it. Which law is that? Show me in the constitution of the zoo. And when you point out Mieti Yala Vigilante to them, they shut their mouth. What they have now done is to go to DSS every day. DSS will manufacture one group. That doesn't exist. That does not exist. Because they understand the mind of a black monkey in Africa, that they don't listen. Once they keep telling you, this Igbo group is against ESN, that Eastern group is against Nnamdi Kanu, if they keep repeating the same lie and garbage, they know you are black people, one day it will click into your mind. And you start to question ESN. Then that time they will bring what is left of their army. We know how many soldiers they have in the zoo. And we know that we have more men under arms than them in the zoo. We know why we lost the war. We're not going to lose this very war. I'm telling you the truth. Before God and man, we can't lose it. Heaven is my witness. We can never lose it. They are going to die in our land. They are going to die in Biafra land. And their homes will be taken over by the monster that they bred. There is something some of you do not understand in the zoo. Sometimes when I go through Zoom, in fact, I said to myself, God, in my next life, I can never come to Africa. I don't want to mix with idiots who cannot reason very well. Let me tell you what is going to happen in the north. For some of you who do not know, it has started happening already. Do you know that the mother of Buratai died? Buratai could not go to his house. He's the army general, commanding all the armies of the zoo. He couldn't go for his mother's burial. Are you aware of that? In Bruno, he couldn't go. Why do you think so? Do you know that Isa Funtua died? He was not buried in his village, he was buried in Abuja. Are you aware that Abakiyari died? Abakiyari was not buried in his hometown, in one of the Bruno villages. He was buried, so they claim, in Abuja. Do you know that Samunda is dead? Do you know that everybody who has risen up to take over, do you know that the entire Fulani cabal that I was telling you about before, that they're all dead? Are you aware of that? Buhari is dead. Abakiyari is dead. Isa Funtua is dead. Samunda is dead. Are you aware of that, all of you? Are you aware of that? No, you don't know. This war is being waged in the spiritual realm for some of you who don't understand. The reason why they have not announced the death of Mama and Daura is because they said, if they announce it now, I will look for the next person to curse. Go and ask them in Abuja, that's what they're saying. Anybody who rises up to become the head of the cabal, you will die. You have an eternal curse placed on you. And Mama and Daura is dead, of course he's dead. The entire cabal is dead. If you don't know, let me tell you. They are just playing games, playing I'm telling you the truth. But this year, they can't escape it. Something is going to happen to the zoo that any ear that hears it will vibrate forever and ever. God will destroy Nigeria completely and totally. I want to let Britain understand this. I want them to do all they can to save their zoo that they created for the habitation of idiots who cannot reason in Africa, especially Nigerians. I need them to understand this very carefully. Do all you can to save your zoo. You cannot save it. Watch and see what is going to happen. The Janjaweed are coming from all over the Sahel with their camel, bringing in every manner of sophisticated weaponry. Not to come and fight Biafrans, of course not, but to come and finish all these vultures. They are in a very serious mess, I assure you. I gave them 3 examples: Yemen, Somalia, and Syria. That is what is going to obtain in the northern part of the zoo. They can't escape it. So some of you disturbing yourself or distressing yourselves as to what we are going through this very day, you don't have to worry, because we know where we're going. And so far so good, that I can assure you. Today is our eternal leader not vindicated. Today Fulani is telling you we're now ready for restructuring. The same restructuring that Ojukwu went to Abuja and negotiated, and Britain said no. Fulani said no to restructuring. Now they want to restructure back to regions. The same thing that Ojukwu cried and campaigned for. That some people, some Igbo people rose against Ojukwu. Is it not the same thing they're asking for today? The same Nyawodo, talking about restructuring. Nyawodo's father was a traitor, a saboteur of the highest order. He fought against Ojukwu. The same way Nyawodo is fighting against me today. After the father's foolishness and treachery, today the son is talking about restructuring. Let us restructure back to the region. The same thing Ojukwu went for, and your father said no to it. These are the people that are your leaders. Do you now understand what we are fighting? We must make it very, very clear that we are in a struggle for liberation. There is no democracy in a revolution. We are in a perpetual state of a revolution. There is no democracy.